Buongiorno, dobry dzień, good morning. This is our third and last recipe of our clips launched on the occasion of the 6th edition of the Week of the Italian Cuisine in the World. I am very pleased that our friend Mr. Nagy shared with us his favorite dessert, the Italian well-known Panna Cotta. Let's see how our chef Marco Miglioli is going to interpret this very traditional dish in his own creative way. I'm looking forward to taste it. Buon appetito!
Hello, my name is Dušan. I very much like to cook and I very like the Italian recipes because they're usually very simple and they combine very few high quality ingredients, and you don't have to spend so much time in the kitchen and have a marvelous result. I remember when we were traveling in Sardinia, living by the locals, and they taught me how to prepare some of their marvelous recipes and specialities, and they demanded that I would replay the names of the ingredients so that I will see how simple it is and how quickly it can be done. And this is my Panna Cotta, which is quite popular within our family, even if somebody like me prepares it.
Buongiorno a tutti e benvenuti. Welcome. Today we're going to make my version of a panna cotta. Of course, it's a little bit twisted, but it's going to be a kind of a classic one. So the ingredients is going to be milk, 200 grams, 50 grams of double cream, 35%, 50 grams of sugar, 3 grams of gelatin. Then we're going to use, for the little bit of twist, we're going to use, of course, our ricotta, it's a sheep ricotta. I like to put some herbs in my ricotta, so it's going to be some rosemary, fresh rosemary, of course, chop it up, and some icing sugar, about 30 grams, of course, some fresh chestnut, and we're going to use some khaki and cardamoms. So for the panna cotta, actually it's a very simple recipe. We're going to mix up some milk, the double cream, and the sugar, and then we're going to bring it up to about 70 degrees. Of course, the gelatin has to be soaked in water. I already did this step. Soaked in water is about 50 grams of water, cold water, of course. For the ricotta, I like to put some icing sugar inside, as I said. And some herbs, fresh herbs, which is rosemary. Then you mix it up gently, and then when it's nice and mixed up, we're going to put in a piping bag. You can add a little bit of milk or cream if it's going to be a little bit too hard. Of course, I did this step already, and I put it in my piping bag. At home it's going to be easy. You can also not put in a piping bag if you don't have it, and you can just leave it in a bowl and then just spoon it up in the plate. You see, I like this consistency a little bit rough, not too smooth, because of course we are at home and we're not going to be in a restaurant every day. This is the shape I choose for my panna cotta. It's obviously a chestnut shape to make a little bit more funny. For the khaki, now I like to make a cartocho. Cartocho is made with tin foil. It's very easy. You get your khaki and you close it up. Then you add some spices. I like to put cardamoms. and then you close it. You don't need nothing else because the khaki is already super sweet and with a nice flavor. And then you bake it up 150 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. For the khaki twill, actually we're going to take 100 grams of the khaki puree and we're going to mix it up with 20 grams of butter and 30 grams of icing sugar. And this is going to be the result. So it's a nice mix, very smooth. Of course, we're going to take a little bit. I made some silpat shape in rectangle, and then I'm going to shape it up. You can just, if you don't have the silpat, you can just, if you don't have this shaped silpat, of course, you can just use a normal one or a baking paper and just spread it all over and put it in the oven. You will bake it for 9 minutes, 150 degrees. This is going to give you a little bit of crunchy in your plate. And then I'm going to bake it in the oven. So for the chestnut puree, you take 500 grams of chestnut and you boil it in some milk until it's very nice and soft. And then you pass it to the mixer, blender, and you have a nice smooth puree. Actually, before I warm it up some milk and the cream and the sugar, as I said. So when the sugar is dissolved and the gelatin is dissolved in the milk, so everything together, then you add your chestnut puree. And you mix it properly. Be careful that there's not going to be any grains or any big lump of the chestnut. It's very simple but quite tasty. It's perfect for the season. So when it's mixed up, I got my chestnut molds. You can put it wherever you want. I like to put it in this one because it's a chestnut shape. And of course you put it inside. Voila. And then I'm going to put it in the fridge for at least 3 hours to set. Let's try to plate it up now. We have our chestnut panna cotta. I already put it on a plate. You can put it as much as you want or where you want. Yeah, and then I'm gonna add my ricotta, sheep ricotta. I make it like this, but you guys can do as you want. Then, of course, my twill. And then to finish, I like to grate some fresh chestnut on top. and a little clean up. And this is my version of a chestnut panna cotta.